The Islamic State caliphate is all but gone. There is instead mile after mile of destroyed communities, where once the extremists had absolute power spread across 2 countries, an area the size of Britain. There's now just rubble. The militants have often left booby traps and mines as they retreat, so we're ordered to walk in a line. Daesh lived in here, the Islamic State lived in here, and you can see a bunker. You come in right inside. A tunnel, actually. This is very typical of the Islamic State, digging tunnels, and they also had smashed through holes in the wall so that they could get from building to building, because there's lots of drones ahead. IS has been cornered on one small patch of land, boxed in on all sides. Our cameras catch them frantically making preparations for what's being called their last stand. Women and children can be seen there too. There's a lull in the battle. The IS fighters say they're holding prisoners. They want to make a deal. IS retreated and retreated quickly, and many appear to have been foreign nationals. Signs are a family probably stayed here, because there are small toys left behind. There's blankets and a pillow, and in this suitcase there's a Calvin Klein watch, woman's glove, part of a book which was French, what appears to be part of a diary or a letter, in which the writer talks about all the amputations, all the injuries, the torture and the imprisonment is worth it for Allah, and a child's drawing showing the Islamic flag and a plane dropping bombs on houses. And some sort of weaponry in return. Some families are making it out, down an humanitarian corridor into the desert, where US coalition soldiers are waiting to interview them. There are clearly some war wounded amongst them. This man has a badly burned face, shrapnel injuries, and a fractured arm which has received some sophisticated medical aid. Another man says he lost both his legs after stepping on a mine. They're all considered IS suspects. The men are segregated and fingerprinted before being taken off to a detention center where they'll be interrogated. The women will be taken to a camp where they'll stay under guard too, until decisions are taken about what to do with them. There are several foreigners, amongst them a French teenager called Anissa, who's 19 and from Dunkirk, and who now has a 1-year-old baby.
I was 15, I was not big in my head, you know. I talk in internet and I follow. Only 1 week I very much internet, and after I go, I don't think good. I do this fast, you know. And after I came, I didn't know that it was war. I didn't know. When I came here, I hear bombs, and I was so scared. I say, what this? Because the man who talk with me, he don't say to me that it's war here.
Lydia Fahim is also French, from Paris. She married twice in Syria and has 2 children. She says both husbands were killed in the fighting. But despite it all, she says she learned a lot.
I regret, and I don't regret. I regret because it was not my way to think. I came here without knowledge, and knowledge very important in Islam. And I didn't regret because this makes me experience to be strong and to be mother and to be very strong.
They both yearn to go home to France, but that's a very long way away right now. There are a handful of detention camps spread across northeast Syria, now home to thousands of suspected IS families, and those here have found it's not so easy getting out. This is where all the women and children who were married or belonged to ISIS fighters are being kept. It's basically a prison. Under guard 24 hours, they're not allowed out. There are at least 4 British women and their children staying on this camp.
Really, and even this, I didn't want to at all because of the bad experience.
They didn't want to be filmed, but many have found themselves here for more than a year already.
I've been here for just under 4 years.
Under 4 years?
Yeah.
You was in Daesh, with Daesh?
I'm a doctor.
Among those being held as suspected IS fighters is a man from Birmingham, Anwar Mir.
Hi, I'm Alex Crawford from Sky News.
When we met him on a Kurdish base with guards overseeing us, he insisted it was all a mistake.
I can say to everybody in Britain that I'm not an ISIS fighter. I'm not a dangerous person. I came here to do humanitarian work. I have hurt nobody. I have done nothing wrong other than work in a hospital. People have labelled me with ISIS because of the area was controlled by ISIS. But I just did my job working in a hospital.
For 3.5 years, he was inside IS territory when the extremists were at their strongest, controlling large areas of land in Syria and Iraq, carrying out executions, amputations and beheadings. But the Birmingham pharmacist insists he saw virtually nothing.
Very, very little, very, very little. When I first got, the internet was always very weak, and then they went through a period whereby they said the internet is not allowed, and then they said the television is not allowed, and they removed everybody's dishes, and they put them in one place, and it was forbidden to have a television in your house.
Wasn't that a bit of an alarm bell that things might be going wrong?
In Mayadeen, everything was fine.
But the coalition of Western governments, including Britain, which supported the fight against IS, are now refusing to repatriate citizens like Mohammed Anwar Mir, claiming they could carry out attacks back home.
What is it you miss about Britain?
I miss everything, the choice, you know, and the freedom, the choice and the freedom. You know, I can walk into a supermarket and everything is available. I can have the freedom to choose anything I want. Yeah. During the full time that I was here, I worked in a hospital.
His brother back home in Britain, who saw his sibling on Sky News, urged the British authorities to help rescue him.
I'm very worried. You know, things are changing over there, the situation, as in, you know, who's got control. And I mean, I don't know, we don't know what will happen to him. We don't know his fate, you know, and there's no indication of, you know, where he's going towards. So you're left in a sort of like a limbo where, you know, anything can happen, and he might have a bad ending.
I'm not a danger. I'm not a danger. I came here to do humanitarian work.
He's asked us to keep his identity hidden for fear of angry reprisals against his family, but he's in no doubt of his brother's innocence.
He's just the same person that I knew, you know, with pure intentions, you know, very honest, and there's not even that doubt in my mind whenever, from any information I get or when I hear him, there's not even that little doubt in my mind to question his sort of like his honesty or, you know, his intentions.
The Kurdish forces holding the IS suspects haven't been able to conduct trials and don't want the responsibility of people they view as militants, especially with the region so fragile. Their foreign captives are in limbo and getting desperate. We also spoke to a doctor who'd worked in the NHS for 8 years, now also being held by the coalition in northeast Syria. He says he was duped into crossing into Syria, ended up being kidnapped and sold to IS. He too wants the British authorities to bring him home.
Why am I still sitting in the prison? Why am I not being given any justice? Is there no justice? Britain exists, it's the strongest, one of the strongest countries in the world. And why my country has abandoned me when I needed it the most?
The doctor says he spent 2 years in and out of IS jails and on the run in fear of his life before the coalition captured him.
I never realized how much I would miss my home, how much England meant to me, really. So for me, it is my home. I was a very good doctor, a good profession, a good human being. There is not a single complaint in NHS against me. I've been excellent with people, and I have got some special skills.
Alexander Bekmirzaev is an Irish passport holder who's lived in Dublin but left for Syria in 2013. urging his wife to bring their baby son and join him months later.
What can I do? And it's the biggest mistake of my life. What else? I lost 5.5 years. I stole 5.5 years from my family.
He and his family emerged weak and starving a few weeks ago from the last pocket held by IS. He insists he was forced by IS to drive injured people to hospitals.
They told me, you must work now, you can't sit like that. I said, well, I'm not going to go fight. I can't, first of all, physically I can't do this. They said, no, we're not asking you to fight. I have to bring the families to the hospitals in Minbij, sometime Al-Bab, sometime Raqqa. And that's what I did for over a year. Towards the end, towards the last 6 months, there was like this. You don't fight, you don't eat. I didn't fight, I didn't eat. I eat the grass. My family eat the grass.
The worry now is, in the dying days of the battle against IS, his Kurdish captors may lose territory to either Turkey or the Syrian regime's Bashar al-Assad, and that'll mean losing control of their foreign prisoners.
Well, I don't know if we're going to end up in the custody of Bashar, we're going to get killed. This is definitely. He will kill us.
The military fight against IS may be all but over, but the region's as unstable as ever, and thousands accused of being foreign Islamic State fighters are wanted by neither their home countries or their captors. Alex Crawford, Sky News in Eastern Syria.
Make the picture of how they're going to blindfold me too, huh?